In the vastness of space, an alien empire is preparing to engulf Earth, and humanity has only one chance to survive. Unseen weapons are being deployed, cosmic secrets are slowly being revealed, and this battle will determine the fate of mankind. But do we have enough power to face the destructive might of our enemies? Join us on this thrilling, dangerous, and life-or-death journey. Subscribe now and get ready for a world unlike anything you've ever imagined. It's time to begin. As the light on Earth fades beneath the colossal shadow of the massive spaceship, Eternal Dominion, stretching 20 kilometers in length, the entire planet shakes. From the largest cities to the most remote villages, people gaze up at the dark sky as the ship floats in space, resembling a monstrous creature preparing to engulf everything. The residents aboard space stations in orbit look at the alien ship, feeling small, like mere toys compared to its massive scale. All communication from space stations has been severed, leaving only an absolute silence, pierced only by the red glow of Eternal Dominion shining down. All of Earth's equipment is experiencing interference, from the most advanced observation stations to battle spacecraft. People rush to control centers, their eyes fixed on the screens as Admiral Tawan appears, his cold expression and deep, resonant voice echoing through all devices. Humanity, today you have been chosen. Your world will become part of the Eternal Empire. Surrender control of your planet, your natural resources, and your governments immediately, or you will face total annihilation. Tawan's harsh threat reverberates in the hearts of all. A chill runs down their spines as they realize that all of Earth's might pales in comparison to the enormous warship looming above. Beneath the solid rock of the Rocky Mountains, the United Earth Defense Council holds an emergency meeting. 13 of the planet's top military and political leaders, each bearing a somber expression, are staring at the screen as the Empire's declaration of war resounds. General Park Soo-jin stands in the corner of the room, arms crossed, her eyes intently fixed on the strategic display. She has prepared for this day for 30 years. No one can read her face, but the unwavering look in her eyes reveals that nothing will shake her resolve. "They won't stop," Colonel Kang says, sliding a pile of intelligence reports toward General Park. 17 worlds have been conquered in the last 10 years, all following the same pattern. They will never surrender. Park nods, silent. She has heard these reports hundreds of times, but this time is different. The weight of humanity's survival resting in her hands sharpens every sense within her. "Show me the weapons," General Park demands, her calm voice betraying nothing but authority. A 3D display materializes before her, zooming in on the Empire's warships' weapon systems, large cannons, missile bays, and a dense network of energy projectors covering the entire ship. "They're not just strong, they're very strong," Park says, her gaze never leaving the screen. "But they don't know how strong we are." A thick silence fills the room. Suddenly, a flashing light appears on the table, and a hidden compartment opens, revealing a black cube. This is not something any of the people in the room have ever seen before. "We have this," General Park says as the cube begins emitting strange light. A 3D image of an ancient spacecraft buried beneath Antarctica appears, along with technology far beyond human understanding. "We've made weapons from this technology," General Park continues. "Weapons the Empire knows nothing about, as the Eternal Empire threatens Earth, issuing an ultimatum for humanity to surrender. No one could have imagined that the real battle hadn't even begun." Gigantic ships hover in the sky, their shadows casting over cities, dominating the space around them as if they were conquerors. Gods come to destroy. This tension spreads across the planet, blanketing it with a sense of inevitability. Screens in every home, every city, broadcast Admiral Tawan's message, his voice booming, ominous and deep like thunder. "Your world has been chosen. If you do not surrender, there will be nowhere left for you to run." The silence that follows is absolute, as if the weight of the words presses down on every soul. The entire planet waits, anticipating either submission or annihilation. There is no longer a difference, for before them lies only an unavoidable collapse. Yet, deep within the heart of Earth's government, It is the very people considered weak or delusional who had been preparing for this moment. General Park Soo-jin, head of Earth's critical military forces, shows no sign of fear. A 52-year-old woman, she has spent nearly her entire life in the shadows of military secrets, quietly preparing for this very moment. She stands in the emergency meeting room of the Earth Defense Council, her gaze sharp, her hand resting lightly on the control panel. The room is silent. The other generals, the military leaders of Earth, wait for her decision. They do not understand and cannot even begin to imagine what she can do to oppose a mighty space empire. They have miscalculated us, Park says, her voice cold, yet something hidden within a determination that cannot be extinguished. They think we are weak. They think we do not have the strength to resist, but we will show them just how powerful we are. A 3D screen opens before her, and a sleek black cube begins to emit strange light, slowly rotating in space. An enigmatic object found beneath the ice of Antarctica, unknown to anyone until Earth discovered it during a scientific survey 15 years ago. No one understands why a simple cube could change everything. But it was this cube that became the source of technology beyond the Empire's comprehension: space warping technology, stealth weapons, and dimensional phase shifting. This is what the Empire could never fathom. Without hesitation, General Park presses a button on the control panel, and a video begins to play. The footage shows an ancient spacecraft discovered under the Antarctic ice, containing technology far beyond anything any civilization, no matter how powerful, could ever understand. From here, humanity began to develop weapons, defense systems, and warfare technologies that the Empire could not possibly anticipate. This is what led to the Empire's downfall, Park says, her eyes still fixed on the screen as the cube morphs, projecting strange images. These weapons will make them pay. Colonel Kang, a seasoned veteran of the military, raises an eyebrow in surprise. General, are we really going to fight? Their ship is powerful enough to wipe out a city in minutes. We can only pray. Park turns back, her gaze colder and more resolute than ever. Number. She smiles, but the smile holds a deeper meaning. We will make them regret underestimating us. As the Empire prepares for its attack, humanity, under General Park's leadership, begins to act. Space stations in distant orbits, secret military bases on Mars, Titan, and other moons, places the Empire could never suspect, mobilize the resistance. They are not only preparing stealth spacecraft, but also reviving ancient technologies, weapons that could change the rules of interstellar warfare. The Empire's messages proclaiming Earth's inability to resist begin to fade as Earth's people, especially those within the military system who have been trained for this moment, rise up. The war is no longer about nuclear technology or space fortresses. This is a war of willpower, of ideals for which humanity has sacrificed generations to build. The brutality of this war is not only in the bloodshed, but in the difficult decisions that leaders must make. The fate of the entire planet, all that they have ever cherished, now rests in the hands of those with no choice but to fight to the bitter end. And in this moment, General Park will not only face the Empire, but also the human decisions that define them. Is this victory truly worth it when humanity must pay a price so high they can never turn back? The atmosphere grows tense as the war begins, and the darkness is not just cast by the Empire's ship, but by the very decisions of humanity. In this moment, there is no retreat. In the darkness of space warfare, the most brutal strategies lie not only in technological power, but also in the decisions and tactics that the leaders must undertake. General Park Soo-jin, with her sharp decision-making, has devised a strategy that even the eternal Empire could not have anticipated. Humanity was not only fighting for survival, but they had also prepared a perfect counteroffensive with a weapon the enemy could never fathom: space warping weaponry and stealth spacecraft. When the Empire issued its demand, the entire focus of Earth's Defense Council shifted to an unyielding attack strategy. While Admiral Tawan of the Empire believed they would easily dominate Earth, no one within the Empire could have predicted the true power of the space defense system that humanity had concealed for decades. Quantum weaponry, destruction devices unseen by the Empire, had been deployed from stealth marines to battle robots, utilizing phase-shifting technology. As the Empire's ships surged into space, all they saw were three-dimensional images of massive warships drifting in space. But when the Empire's ship released destructive beams, they passed through the space without causing any damage. Humanity's ships were not ordinary vessels. They were physical illusions crafted from space-bending technology. They did not fully exist in three-dimensional space, but rather passed through other spatial dimensions, rendering the Empire's weapons useless. Meanwhile, Admiral Tawan stood aboard his flagship, unable to comprehend how these tiny, unarmed ships could defeat his massive fleet. The missile launches and devastating blasts from the Empire only pierced through thin space ice with no effect. They only saw their ships gradually disappear as if torn apart by an invisible hand. The Empire's fleet was under attack, without the ability to retaliate. The ships suddenly vanished without a trace, as if they no longer existed in this space. General Park stood in the command room, her eyes following each reflection on the three-dimensional display. "They cannot see us," Park whispered, her hand tightening into a fist. "This is not a normal war. This is a war of dimensions." Beneath the surface of Mars, the secret base began to activate powerful space defense systems. Anti-light weapons, a form of weaponry capable of destroying by altering the surrounding space's structure, had been deployed. The Empire's warships were not only being destroyed from within, but they were disintegrating in space, their molecules disconnected by quantum shockwaves. Each of the Empire ships became a space explosion, bent, torn apart from its very atoms. At this point, Admiral Tawan's desperation reached its peak. He realized that before him was not a weak world, but a civilization capable of destroying his entire empire. Humanity had not only military strength, but also the ability to manipulate space and time. The Empire had misjudged their opponent, and now they would pay a heavy price. As the Empire's warships continued to be torn apart, a strange light appeared on Earth's Space Observation Station. A quantum explosion had occurred. Tiny black holes created by humanity's weapons began to erode parts of the Empire's colossal ship. Humanity's ships did not need to use guns or missiles, they simply needed to shift their targets to another dimension, and the Empire would be helpless. On Earth, everyone could feel the victory gradually overcoming the initial fear. However, the brutality of the battle was far from over. The Empire still had a secret weapon known of destruction, capable of annihilating everything. And when they discovered this, General Park knew that this battle would never end. It had only just begun. In a moment, the whole world could only hear the resounding sounds of the war raging in space, the explosive blasts of the warships vanishing into the void, and the merciless brutality of this cosmic war that nothing could halt. Blood and steel would not be enough to determine its outcome. Instead, it would be the very survival of human willpower that would decide it. Earth has never faced a threat as terrifying as this. Though the Empire's colossal warship was destroyed, humanity's victory seemed premature, as if they had achieved an easy triumph. But in the shadow of space, where humanity's resistance forces were growing stronger, a terrifying truth began to emerge. It was not only the death of the invaders that came at a cost. Humanity, in this war, had to sacrifice its very soul in order to survive. General Park Soo-jin stood before her command room, her once unyielding gaze now void of the sharp determination and strategy it once held. Waves of pain surrounded her. Every decision she made now carried the weight of an unavoidable war. The Empire's once mighty warships had been torn apart, but the true anguish did not lie in the battle itself. It was in the decisions that she and humanity had been forced to make. The price humanity paid was not the sacrifice of soldiers or the lost worlds, but the very essence of humanity had crossed into a territory they had never dared to imagine, the ruthless indifference of destruction. While victory still lingered in space, General Park could not escape the haunting memories of the decisions she had made. The technologies humanity now possessed had not only brought down the Empire, but they had also led to a future from which there could be no return. Their weaponry was no longer merely for defense. It had become a tool of infinite destruction. What they learned from ancient technology was not just weaponry, it was a strange gateway leading to a world beyond comprehension, a place where everything they did was only to annihilate themselves. Though Earth's ships had attacked with quantum technology, relentless strikes had destroyed everything the Empire had built over centuries. For General Park and those fighting alongside her, each victory was a wound deep in their minds. Humanity had won, but the scars of war had left them with memories that could not be erased, strategies that had lost the humanity they once took pride in. The soldiers no longer fought to protect their homeland. They fought to resist the decisions they had made. As humanity's war machines continued to fall into destruction, General Park stood before the three-dimensional battlefield map. Each devastated area, each destroyed ship, was not a victory but a bloody warning. "If we continue like this, there will be no humanity left," she murmured. But her confidence was shaking. Each time she activated the space defense systems, she knew that what she had created not only protected this planet, but could also destroy what remained of humanity. When Admiral Tawan finally admitted the defeat of the Eternal Empire, he still could not understand why humanity's ships were so powerful, and why his final decision led to a loss that was irreversible. But for Park, this victory was not the end. More than ever, she realized that humanity's survival was not about winning it, was about protecting the values they held dear, the very ones they had sacrificed throughout this war. Humanity had once thought the war was to defend freedom, but now they faced a far more bitter truth. Every strategic decision they had made was a dagger driven into their own heart. The weapons they had developed were not just tools to fight the enemy, they were instruments of destruction that would one day turn back to devour humanity itself. As the brutal war came to an end, the final roars of the fleet fell silent, leaving a void in space. Humanity had won, but the price had been too high. The cruelty of war had seeped into every cell, and now no one was certain they could return to the path they once walked. Their world had changed forever, and there was no way to cleanse the stain that war had left behind. Standing at the window, gazing out at the dark cosmos, General Park wondered, "We have won, but will humanity ever be the same again?" Humanity has achieved victory, but in General Park's eyes, this triumph is not an end, it is only the beginning of something far greater. Earth is no longer a solitary planet in the vast universe, and now it must face a terrifying transformation. The Eternal Empire has fallen, but there are other invisible forces, distant cosmic powers, who are watching Earth and witnessing the undeniable shift in the galaxy. From the black holes of space, from the dark, unexplored regions, ancient forces have witnessed humanity's rise, a rise that is not just a scientific advancement, but a profound shift in the very essence of humankind. Along with these victories, the price humanity has paid has irrevocably changed the balance of the galaxy. No longer weak, no longer subjects of alien conquerors, Earth is now a new threat, an opponent that even the most established civilizations must reassess. Though the victory has proven humanity's ability to confront extraterrestrial forces, it is in this very moment that humanity realizes they can no longer remain still in this vast cosmic expanse. The clouds of war no longer only cast their shadow over Earth, but also over the star systems surrounding it. Humanity's rapid development has attracted the attention of strange civilizations, long hidden in the depths of the galaxy. General Park, though a strong woman, cannot help but feel an invisible fear. Each day, she sees herself and Earth's strategies changing in response to the evolving reality. Diplomatic encounters with alien civilizations have placed her in an inescapable bind. The threats from the ancient races are growing louder in her mind. These forces, with technologies never seen before, have shown an absolute ruthlessness. They existed before the rise of the Eternal Empire, and now they threaten Earth due to the ripple effects of the war. Meanwhile, Earth's fleet has begun deploying tactics that create cosmic waves, and underground forces are stirring, preparing to establish new empires in space. ready to confront those who seek to dominate the galaxy. This transformation cannot be avoided. Humanity will not only protect Earth, but also its right to freedom in a universe teeming with hidden enemies. But the cruelty does not end there. After each battle, each successful strike by Earth, something darker and more terrifying rises. Humanity's technology has now surpassed mere self-defense. They have begun to use weapons of galactic destruction devices, capable of striking at the very nature of space itself. The small black holes created in space, the weapons that distort spatial dimensions, are being used to annihilate entire regions of space. Unexplored lands are now becoming shattered remnants of space, sucked into the maelstrom of cosmic warfare. In a meeting with new allies from distant worlds, General Park realized that Earth was no longer merely a home to humanity. They had begun to forge a new empire, not just for power but for survival in a universe full of danger and hostility. Each of her decisions was no longer about traditional warfare. It was a fight to protect humanity from complete annihilation. As Earth's fleets venture into space, they are not only facing old enemies. This galaxy is not just home to the Eternal Empire, but to invisible forces who are watching them. Earth's weapons of destruction are not just military strategies. They are a declaration of war against every civilization in the galaxy, a statement that humanity is no longer weak. But the price for this victory is not just blood and tears. It is the cost of their spirit and humanity. As the spaceships approach the territories of distant civilizations, Earth's empire is no longer a story of freedom. It is a brutal struggle with the very essence of this universe. Humanity's transformation is not only a victory, it is a process of destruction and rebirth, where each world will have to choose between accepting or resisting the changes they themselves have initiated. As the light from Earth's energy systems begins to illuminate distant planets, an undeniable truth emerges. Humanity has entered a new era, where there is no turning back. Earth is no longer just a planet of humankind. It is the starting point for a new cosmic civilization, a civilization that cannot be conquered. This universe, though brutal and filled with hidden dangers, will have to accept humanity's existence. Humanity has found a way to erase all boundaries, to fight and survive. Now, nothing can stop them, for in their minds, this universe is not a place to be invaded. It is a place for them to dominate. Thank you all for following the next part of this dramatic cosmic story. I hope you felt the tension, the ruthlessness, and the desire for victory that humanity must endure on the path to protect itself. The fierce battles, the deep psychological insights, and the unique science fiction discoveries, this is just the beginning. If you enjoy these stories and want to see more exciting content in the future, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any part of this journey. Be sure to leave a comment to share your thoughts and let us know what you think about the next part. Thank you so much for always being with us, and we promise to bring you even more thrilling and captivating stories in the upcoming videos. Wishing you a wonderful day, and don't forget to keep believing in yourself in life, as well as in every battle you face. We'll meet again in the next stories, where humanity will never yield to any force, and every step will be a victory. See you in the next part.